What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk to you guys really quick about this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Now, before I get started, I want to forewarn you guys. I may be slurring a little bit, or I might be mixing things up. Don't worry, I'm not on a liquid courage. I'm just a little bit jet lagged from the vacation. I'm a little tired, but I'm still going to power through it. See, I just did it right there. I'm gonna power through it and give you guys my thoughts on tonight's SmackDown. And also, I want to say thank you to everyone who joined me on my live stream tonight for SmackDown. I greatly appreciate it. I feel the love. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's talk about what happened. So if you ask me what letter grade I would give for SmackDown tonight, it would have to be somewhere between a C to a C+. It wasn't a terrible show, but there was a lot of moments that I felt like it was just very flat, and it just felt like a lot of filler, you know what I'm saying? Like you buy a bag of chips and half of it is air. It felt like that was going on there, but there was a lot of things about this show that I absolutely loved. And I don't know if this is an effect of the fact that we came off with a lot of people consider as one of the greatest Raws in recent memory, and then to turn around and go into this, or if it's just because that's how I feel about the show in isolation. But now that I think about it, I feel like that's just how I feel about the show in isolation. But don't get me wrong, there's things here that I did absolutely love that don't all have to do with Roman Reigns. One of the main things that I did love is SmackDown showcasing the tag team division. I love when they give the tag team division a whole lot of love. I love when that happened. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been getting that. Now, if you see my video about my qualms about what WWE has been doing with the tag team division, it felt like that WWE was making that division an afterthought. And don't get me wrong, a lot of what WWE doing right now is fantastic. I love every minute of it. But I keep seeing what's been going on with the tag division and wonder how come they can make everything else look really good, but with the tag team division, it just seems like they get the short end of the stick. And what I was talking about is that the teams that are actual tag teams, they get short title reigns, they get title reigns that don't really mean much, or they drop the title like pretty much like 5 seconds after they touch it. Short title reigns, basically. And they end up going to these factions as plot devices just to forward their storyline, and the other people who are actual tag teams just kind of sit around and wait until those storylines play out, which is what happened, right? The Judgment Day has the tag team titles, and so does the Bloodline 2.0, both sides to forward a storyline, which is absolutely fine with me. But just when they go to these tag teams, just let them have a little bit more love than what they've been getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't think of a better word to say it, but I feel like they should have better title reigns, more defenses, you know, and things like that. It can go either way, you know, as far as it, you know, being used as a plot device, but also just be a little bit more respectful with the tag teams, I feel like. But in saying that, SmackDown has been doing that the past couple of weeks. I can't complain about how they've been handling the division, and then when they make attempts to actually do it right, still complain about it. I have nothing to complain about. We go from the gauntlet, which people feel the way they feel about the Bloodline 2.0 winning. We all knew that they were going to win once Jacob Fatu got inserted into that gauntlet, but they got a lot of time. Last week, we saw both tag team championships get people tried to defend them with SmackDown before SummerSlam, and we had 2 great matches. Then tonight we had tag team #1 contender matches, which were both great matches that got a ton of time. You know, we talking about DIY versus Pretty Deadly, and Pretty Deadly, sometimes we barely ever see them on TV anymore, and now they're building up a musical for WWE for those guys, which is going to be interesting. And then we had a match between the Street Profits and A-Town Down Under, which the Street Profits went over, and they look fantastic, especially Montez Ford. And the people there in the crowd, they made it so much fun. They were so much into it. And now we're going to get a match between DIY and the Street Profits, 2 tag teams that I absolutely loved in NXT, which I'm telling you, their match is going to be a banger, and I hope they get enough time to actually have that match for the #1 contendership against the Bloodline for those tag team titles. Please just give them some time, and they will show the casuals, the main roster, that they can put on a clinic. All 4 of these guys are way too talented to not give us a banger, bro. That's just what I feel about it, and I'm loving this. I love that they're giving love to the tag team division. On top of that, the other thing that I love is the fact that we saw that Kevin Owens getting the opportunity to face Cody Rhodes for his title, which is going to be great, you know, which is going to be interesting to find out how this is going to turn into something else, because it makes you wonder, is it Kevin Owens that's going to turn on Cody Rhodes? Is it going to be Randy Orton that turns on Cody Rhodes? And it could possibly be Randy Orton, because you know what? The fact that Cody gave Kevin Owens the opportunity and never offered it to Randy Orton. I mean, Randy Orton, the way he was staring at that title backstage, let you know he really does want that title. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cody Rhodes catches the RKO, or, you know, if Kevin Owens does turn him. But I think it's more likely that Randy Orton does turn on Cody Rhodes as opposed to Kevin Owens. But I think it's cool that Kevin Owens gets an opportunity to have that match, and they set the whole thing up. Now, the other part that I did love is the fact that they had Naomi come out and then help Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Blair Davenport. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I'm sure that's going to shape up a 6-woman tag match at Bash in Berlin, which is great for them, you know, which gives more women an opportunity to showcase their skills in the ring, especially like Blair Davenport, who barely gets anything going on. I know she just got over to SmackDown since the draft, but at least it gives them an opportunity to showcase that division and see what these ladies can do. And then ultimately at the end of the day, we had the whole situation with Roman Reigns, which he basically did to the Bloodline 2.0, what he used to say on his t-shirts: wreck everyone and leave. Like, you know, he came in, destroyed the Bloodline 2.0, and single-handedly. I won't say that he's like washed them. I'm not going to say that Bloodline 2.0 didn't get any offense in, but he basically did destroy them. He came in, looked like an Amazon fulfillment worker, packed them all up, put on some packaging tape, and shipped them out. That's basically what he did to everybody, because, you know, he was fed up. And for me, I was like, you know what? In the moment, I was like, you know what? It would be nice if they got a little bit of more dialogue between him and Roman Reigns, between Solo and Roman. But if you think about it, after all the stuff that Solo Sikoa did, it's on site at that point. There's nothing to talk about. You beat up my wise man. You're wearing stuff to call yourself the tribal chief. You're trying to take my position. You're disrespecting my position. You're trying to take over something. You're talking stuff about me, instigating stuff, telling me that I know you know where to find me. And then once I found you, it's on site. It's fist to face. And when it came to that moment, we see Solo Sikoa at the top of the ramp still talking stuff with, you know, while Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga's getting beat up. And it's crazy because Tonga Loa got more heart than Solo, and Tonga Loa got one less eyeball than Solo Sikoa. So it's just crazy how that whole situation works. But I did love the fact that happened. Hopefully in the next episode of SmackDown next week, we will get a little bit more dialogue between Roman or Solo, or maybe Roman will be in the ring to talk more, to kind of, you know, so we can hear what he has to say, or maybe Paul Heyman would join him or something like that. I personally thought that when Solo was at the top of the ramp, maybe that would be an opportunity for Jimmy Uso to come through the curtains and then attack him from behind. That would have just been a perfect moment for that. But, you know, he'll return when he returns. It'll happen when it happens. Triple H is who I call a slow cooker booker, so he's going to take his time with that. The part that just kind of felt like filler is, I understand that the whole situation between LA Knight and Santos Escobar and Andrade Cien, it had to happen. With Carmelo Hayes, it had to happen. You know, one of the main things I do love about this era in WWE is that things don't feel like it just happened for no reason. You know, Carmelo Hayes costing Andrade Cien the match spins off into a feud between them, because Andrade did call Carmelo Hayes Bronny James, so maybe he took that personal, and now they got their own feud. And then we got a situation between Santos Escobar and LA Knight, which will be their own thing. But it just, you know, parts of it felt like, you know, even though it happened for a reason, it just felt like it kind of dragged on a little longer than it should. It just like felt like everything was happening to make Roman Reigns, return to SmackDown, have as much as little time and close to the end of the show as possible. And it was very, very noticeable, right? I'm happy that Roman Reigns did come back, but it just felt like stuff was just being stretched out, just for the fact of being stretched out. Because at the end of the show, even when Solo Sikoa came out, after the commercial break, they were still playing his theme song, and when he got into the center of the ring, you can tell that he was just stalling. Like he was just waiting for something to happen. But it's not like a big gripe, but it was just something that was just very noticeable. But, you know, at the end of the day, I thought it was a pretty decent show. C+ is what I would give it. Again, I'm excited to see what they do next. I love what they're doing with the tag team division. I love what the fact that they're doing with Pretty Deadly. They got the musical coming out pretty soon, so I'm gonna be pretty interested to see what happens with that. I love stuff like that, like them doing a musical, or back when Breezango was around when they did the Fashion Files. I love that goofy type of stuff. But at the end of the day, what do you guys think about this episode of SmackDown? Let me know in the comment section. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What letter grade would you give it? Thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me. I appreciate it. Salute, peace. Have a good day.